Some of you might already know that I have properties within the United States, but I also have investment properties outside of the country. Over the shoulder is Medellin, Colombia, where I own a property. I was gonna make a video to give you some tips and tricks when you travel, and not only in the developed world, but also in poor countries. First of all, you want to make sure the visa requirements to entry the country, but also you want to make sure the requirements to go back. I once traveled from Colombia to Brazil, and I bought a round trip ticket. The airline didn't notify me of anything, but came to find out that I couldn't go direct from Brazil to Colombia without a vaccine for the yellow fever. So there was quite an hassle because I had to fly into Panama, wait 6 days, and then go back to Colombia. So there was a huge waste of money. I had to cancel the ticket, buy another ticket, and so on. So you want to make sure the visa requirements. The other thing is you might want to snap a photo of the visa and of your passport, and print out a couple of paper copies just in case. Now, I remember once I was traveling with someone going to Dubai, and they needed a visa. And the requirement was that the visa was to be printed out. So we had to go and look for a copy center within the airport. Now, you might see that this can be an hassle because you might miss your flight. The other thing is wherever you're going, you might want to check the local weather and pack your clothing accordingly. Once you get there, the phone data plan, you might want to make sure that once you land, you have coverage. If you are going to take an Uber or anything that you need, you might need to have phone data. And sometimes the Wi-Fi provided by the airport is not enough. They might charge you too much, or it can be way slow. It also depends on the country that you're going to. Of course, you can get an eSIM plan on the internet. There are a few companies out there that provide that type of service. One of them is Olafly. You might want to make sure that works with your phone. The other thing that you can do is to buy a local SIM card once you get to destination. But that too can be an hassle. Sometimes they ask you for an ID or a local document of identification. So it's not always easy. What I do a lot of times is buying a international data plan, and you can get that at the airport. Now you can get it for the country that you're flying to, or you can get it globally. Or if you're going to Europe, as an example, there is the Europe data plan. But you are better off buying the international data plan that covers pretty much every country in the world. I bought mine through All Travel Data. I have no affiliation with them, and everything that I'm gonna say in this video, I don't have any affiliation with any of those companies. Um, Now, of course, if you come from the United States and you already have a provider, you might want to call them and see if they can activate the international coverage. Now, I do have T-Mobile, and it works pretty good when it comes to makes phone calls and text messages, but it doesn't always work with the data coverage. My recommendation to you is that you buy an international SIM card. Now, this is a physical SIM card. Okay, pretty much you take out of your phone the local SIM card and you insert the international SIM card. I bought that for about $75 a month, but again, it's very useful because if you are going to make a trip to a multi-city travel, you never have to do anything. And once you land, you might need to select the provider, and you're always going to have data. Once you get there, you might want to download the local riding apps, the riding share apps. Now, of course, Uber is pretty much everywhere, but not in every country. So I want to make sure before you get there if Uber operates. If not, there is Didi in Driver, Bolt. Now, I want to look it up on the internet. What is the local riding share app and download that. Now, there are countries that do not allow riding share apps. In some case, yeah, they still operate, but they're not legal. And in some other cases, nothing comes up. So in that case, you might want to take a taxi cab from the airport to the city center or wherever you're staying. In that case, I would recommend that you only use authorized taxi cabs from the airport. A lot of times there are private individual and they want to take you with their personal car. I would stay away from these people. And a lot of countries, once you land, these people are gonna approach you. They're gonna bombard you with offers of taxi. So I would stay away from them. Um, the other thing that can happen is that you reserve a cab from Uber or from whatever the local riding share app is, and the driver is gonna cancel, saying that whatever Uber charges is not enough, and they ask you to cancel that ride and they ask you to pay them directly because it's just not enough. It's just not worth it for them to pay for gas and everything, whatever Uber is charging. In that case, I would get off the car and I would find me another driver. There are people who have tried that and just don't go for it. I think it's a scam. And it's happened to me in the Dominican Republic. The other thing which is useful is to download the local map on your phone offline, just in case you're not going to have coverage. At least you can find your hotel or your Airbnb. It's always useful before you go to a new place, learn a little bit of the local language. Now, of course, that's not easy. I always watch a couple of YouTubes to learn the basics. Usually, I Google top 100 phrases in Brazil if I'm going to Brazil, or the most basics phrases in Spanish if I am going to Argentina. So you get the point. The other thing which is important, it is understanding the local currency and the exchange rates. Now, it depends on where you're gonna get your cash. They're gonna give you all kinds of exchange rates. Usually, whatever rates you get at the airport is different from the rates that you get on the street or the rates that you get at the hotel. So you might want to look up at the daily exchange rate because it fluctuates every day and see what you're gonna be better off with. Uh, Usually, before I go, I go to my local bank in the United States a few days before the trip, and I can order some of the currency. Like if I'm going to Mexico, I would go to my bank in the States. I usually do it through Bank of America, and they charge my bank account for the quantity that I want, and I can get some Mexican pesos there in the United States. So before I even get to Mexico, I already have Mexican pesos in my pocket, and that could save you a lot of time once you get there. Sometimes the taxi cabs don't take debit or credit cards, so now you have already some local cash in your pocket. I always do that. Um, Also, depending on the country that you're going to, it wouldn't hurt that you always have with yourself some US dollars or some euros because those are the most accepted currencies everywhere you go. Basically, if you go to a very touristic venue, they're always gonna take US dollars or euros. So always have that in your pocket. I mean, you're not gonna break the bank, but at least a couple $100 or anything like that, along with another couple $100 of local currency. Um, Now, when it comes to taking money out of the ATMs, it also depends on what country are you going to. If you're going to a dangerous country, you know that there is travel advisory from the U.S. Embassy. Some countries that you shouldn't go. But if you do go to those countries, I would always use an ATM which is inside of a mall or a service station or inside of a shop. I would stay away from the ATMs on the street just because someone might see you and might recognize that you are a tourist and that they might mug you. So always use an ATM which is enclosed. You can use your American debit card or credit card, which is a Visa, MasterCard, whatever it is. It's rare that you can use American Express. And you might want to be aware of what kind of commission they charge you to take money out of the ATM in that country. Now, I do know that At least here where I am today in Colombia, I believe Charles Schwab, they have a program to where you can take money out of the ATM free of charge. Again, you might want to check with your bank. Um, when you travel abroad, you might want to take more than one debit card with you. Usually, I'm going with three or four. Of course, you're only going to take one. You might leave those others in the hotel just in case. And this is because if you lose the debit card, yeah, you can call your bank and you can lock it. But then you're not gonna have any more debit card if you need to make a payment. You need to take money out of the ATM. So you get the point. I always take three, four debit cards with me just in case something happens. I have more ways to pay. Um, the other thing is that when you go to a poor country where there is a high crime rate, I would deactivate the facial ID on your phone and to your online banking. The same thing I would do with the fingerprints. I know that this can be a little bit of an hassle, but it's worth it. Like I say, if you are traveling to a dangerous area, they might drag you, and before you know it, they might take your phone and use your facial ID or your fingerprints to unlock your phone, unlock your online banking, and scam you for a lot of money. Now, if you do have apps like PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, whatever it is with the fingerprint, you might want to do that with all those apps. Um, the other thing that I do, never take cash out of your pocket when you are in public for the same reason, because someone might recognize you're a tourist and they might rob you. Okay, so what I do usually, now this is Colombian currency. Always, if you do have to take money out of your pocket, put the bills of small denomination on the outside. So now this is 2,000 peso, which is like 50 cents. Okay, so you could do that. Now here on the other side, I have 5,000 pesos, which is about a dollar. So you see, when I take the money out of my pocket, if I have to do it, it doesn't seem like a lot of money. Now I also have here a 100,000 peso bill. Now, if I was to take my money out like this, someone might recognize that that's quite a bit of money. Okay, but when you take money out of your pocket, again, the same thing applies. Always do it in a shop or in a mall. I wouldn't do it on the street. And the same thing with your phone. Even more so, um, never take your phone or your cash when you are walking on the street. You are on the shoulder of the street or very close to the street on the sidewalk, because someone might get by with a motorcycle and they might snatch it from you. And there is nothing you can do. If you are with your phone on the side of the street, they can take off of it. That's very important because that's happened a lot. Again, use common sense. Never show off your valuables. If you have your iPhone, be careful. You have a gold watch, jewelries. Don't show off any of that. I mean, if you are recording with expensive cameras, you have the latest GoPro. Make sure to use common sense there. Um, like I say, I always enter a mall or a shop if I need to check my phone or send a text message, um, so that I minimize that risk. Um, at the stoplight, when you crossing the street, same thing. Don't stay there waiting for the stoplight to turn green with your phone, because again, someone on a motorcycle, on a bicycle, they might just take off of it. Um, in general, never get someone getting too close to you. People that are being too nice to you, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. They are trying to talk to you, get close, give you a hug, anything like that, which is suspicious. Stay away. Now, if you're a guy, it could be a very pretty girl to give you a hug after a few minutes talking, and in the meantime, she might slide the iPhone from your pocket. Uh, Talking of phones, I would always put my phone on the front pocket. Okay, don't put it on your back pocket, or even less in a backpack, because they might rob you. Always put it in the front pocket. I usually have tight pants, to where if someone is trying to reach my phone, I am getting aware of it. Um, Again, just to use common sense. Don't dress like a tourist. Like here in Colombia, if you go out at night wearing shorts, usually you're a tourist. Colombians usually do not get out of the house at night with shorts, but with pants. So even if it's very hot outside, I know it can be uncomfortable wearing long pants, but if that's what you need to do in order to avoid getting robbed, I would. Now, of course, if it's on a Sunday morning and you're going jogging, you can wear shorts. Yes, there is no problem. Um, and during the day, I mean, if you're going working out, you're going with a bottle of water, with your training gear. In that case, there is no problem. But if you are going out at night with your shorts and your flip flops, with socks, you're a tourist. You are a target. Okay, so don't be an idiot. Um, if anyone is approaching you, they're being nice, is because they want your money, or at least they want your tips. It's always like this. If they come close and they ask you what you're looking for, can I help you with the direction? I'll take you there. Or sometimes there are locals wearing the local traditional dress. They ask you, you want to take a picture with them. There is always an agenda, and that's that they want to tip. Be very careful, because then if you don't want to give it to them, the situation can turn nasty very quickly. So I would stay away. Just say thank you very much. I don't need any of this. Thank you very much. I remember once I flew into Egypt, and from the very minute that you land, you need to buy the visa at the local airport, and there are going to be people that they say to you they work for the government, they don't need any of your money, they do it, that's their job, and they help you with the process of going through getting your visa, and they take you to passport control, but then they always want a tip. Okay, so I mean, you can give them something, But in that case too, if you give them 50 cents, that too can turn ugly, okay? Because that's not enough. And the same thing happened to me when I went to the pyramids with the camels. First, they say that they don't want anything and they want to help you out, but then you end up spending a lot of money on tips. Again, even there, use common sense. Now, when it comes to traveling abroad, always um, find out what type of voltage there is in that country. If not, once you get there, you cannot charge your phone or plug any of your things. So usually what I do, I buy a travel adapter, a local travel adapter. The best thing to do is to buy a universal travel adapter that can do like the UK, Europe, North South America. Sometimes they also comes with the USB. You can buy there ahead of time, and if you're going to multiple countries, again, you're going to the UK, to Europe, to Asia, you always have to have coverage when it comes to plugging your stuff. Um, Usually, you can buy those at the airports, or you can order on Amazon, um, and you're never gonna have a problem with that. Um, I always pack some wipes and hand sanitizer when I travel, especially if I go on long trips. Having that in your bag is always useful because there are a lot of bacteria. So you travel in airports, airplanes, so that can be helpful. The other thing that you want to do is checking your arrival time, departure time, and your check-in time and check out on your Airbnb or Booking.com or whatever app you're using, VRBO. Just because once it's happened to me in the Netherlands that I had a reservation with Booking.com, but I couldn't check in. And what happens is that if you don't check in on time, at least with Booking.com, you're gonna lose your all reservation. Okay, so if you reserve it for 4 days, but you don't check in on the first day, pretty much they cancel your reservation and they pocket your money. So again, you want to make sure, depending on the apps that you're using, what is their policy when it comes to that. Now, the other thing, too, of course, is that if your check-in time is 3 p.m. and you fly in 6 a.m., and now you're going to be on the street for a few hours. So, I don't know, you might want to book in advance one night. You want to let them know that you're getting in at 6 a.m. If not, you're going to get stranded and possibly after a long red-eye flight. The same thing when you live in the country. If your flight is at 11 p.m. and your checkout time from Airbnb is at 11 a.m., now you have 12 hours. You don't have anything to do, anywhere to go. You have your luggage with you. And again, in that case, you might want to book an extra night. Sometimes I get a rental car, so I can leave my stuff in a rental car. In the meantime, I can go and travel and see more venues. Again, it's up to you. When you are traveling on a multi-city trip, if you are going from point A to point B, you can fly direct, of course, and pay more for that direct flight. If not, of course, you can fly into another city and have a layover there. In that case, the price of the flight is cheaper because of the layover, but you can take advantage of that if you want to visit a new city. First, I thought there was a problem, spending 3, 4, 5 hours in an airport and wait there. But then you realize that actually a long layover can be very helpful if you want to visit an extra city. I've done it many times where the layover was like 16, 17, 18, 19 hours, so that you can get out of the airport and spend one night in a new city, and again, without spending any extra money. Actually, it was gonna save you the plane ticket, but of course you're gonna have to get a Airbnb there. So that's happened to me a lot of times. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. The last thing that you want to do when you go to a restaurant, and last but not least, is that you want to check the pricing list. A lot of times, and this is not only in a restaurant, but it can be in any shop, that there are no prices. Okay, so when you ask how is it, how come that there is no pricing, they say, oh no, let me know what is that you're interested in. And if you say, okay, I'm interested in this cup, they're gonna give you a price right there. So there is no price on the cup and nowhere, and they're gonna give you the tourist price. Stay away from that. That's an old scam. It can be a restaurant. Usually there is the English menu where there are no prices. Always ask for the local menu, okay? And you can translate from your phone. You might want to download on your phone a Google Translate, wherever country you're going to. I mean, if you're going to Saudi Arabia, you might want to download the local language so you can definitely translate what they're saying. Or in the case of a menu, you can snap a photo, you can set up your camera, and it's gonna translate uh, right then and there the menu. And again, that's not only restaurant, whatever you're buying, whatever shops you're going to, always ask for the pricing list, because that's how they scam you. So I feel like I want to close this video right here. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments. But I thought this was helpful, and happy traveling.